Mic check sounds good. Welcome to the channel. This is Reliable Rudy. Get a couple things set up and then I will break down what we got going for us. Let me update the title and let's see if okay, we should be set up. Okay, before we go into any live analysis or any trading, you guys know I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Just sharing my opinion in this trading and analysis. I believe short-term trading is a very hard thing to do. I think it's a big voting machine. I think I have a vote, person next to me has a vote, person next to him has a vote. If more people buy than sell, price will go up. More people sell than buy at a particular price, price will go down. So it's a very hard and a complicated thing to try and do, and nobody's going to be perfect. So that is why I have to tell you guys that, I'm just sharing my opinion with this analysis, and I hope you guys are able to take something that I do and use it to your own benefit, whether it's what I do or something different from what I do. So the title of this, we didn't have any sticky note names for today, just Monday. Just wanted to get a little breakdown of how today was going to go. So nothing crazy. We have two buys on the day, and that is Lucid. We're trying the bottom pick a little bit. We tried this over here on the gap up. You can see tried wicking into this, and then we get stopped out of the position. It happens. We're trying the bottom pick. We weren't sure if this was some sort of uptrend build right here. Now pulling it further, rejecting the top end. But over here you can see the strength kind of just gives you a false little break. We reclaim weakness on the name. And then over here we get our positive break kind of at the end of the trading day. We get the gap up, didn't have the weakness to get down here. No, this is not where I was buying. I didn't have my eyes on it. I seen that it did this, and I was looking at this red candle, and I wish I could tell you I bought in the middle of this wick around 6:30. We tried. The bid was showing 631s. So right here, and we tried the punch-in market. We actually got 634 fill. And like I said, we're just trying to bottom pick a little bit with this name. As you can see, the setup, all we really have is this little base of support over here to the left of the chart. We don't really have anything else. So if this doesn't have the strength to hold up these lows over here, it's not going to be one that I'm really interested in holding for the long term, because obviously, anytime you're dealing with unprofitable company, I believe there is speculation, and I don't think that you should kind of YOLO into speculation unless you kind of have a diversified portfolio that you're comfortable trading these names. Now, everyone's different. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't like more than 5% of my portfolio to be into speculation. I'd rather just trade ETFs, VT, VXUS, buy the entire world market at market cap weights, the world's economy at market cap weights, and we're going to see if this trade can hold off. Does it need to pull back into 620, fill this gap, and try to hold these lows? So more than likely, if I was looking to stop, I could run a deep stop underneath the lows, but then that's right near a 6 flat. So I'm going to run a little bit tighter of a stop, I think. and see if this can hold some sort of uptrend like this, where, you know, probably below here, a 615. So risking about 20 cents, give or take. I'd like to just see 630 hold. That is, this previous low is able to gap up, green engulfing through it. But I can see we're kind of rejecting these lows over here. Can we break a 650? If I'm able to sort of bottom pick, I would love to see it flirt up with these areas and maybe even attempt to fill this gap. And I'm sure you have even further gaps to the upside. So I mean, just looking at those two gaps, let's hypothetically say we get a move and we're lucky enough to capitalize on a 22%. This is why bottom picking, if you can get the entry, hold a piece for the dream. That is the goal. And the other one, 58%. So moving forward, this one looks like it's kind of giving up a little bit. We can put an alert in if this gets underneath of, let's say, 25s. You know, we can even think about cutting it if we wanted to. Here's 630. This is what we tried getting earlier. Does it have a chance of holding right here? Maybe. But trying the bottom pick is extremely hard to do. So a less volatile name compared to some of the top movers of the day. So the range that we are trading in on the day is only 25 cents, give or take, and even from when I took the trade, only about 10 cents. So do buyers come in at 630? It's tough to tell. It's tough to tell. Just because I'm in this trade doesn't mean that you should try it. Uh, Obviously, every scenario for any trader is going to be different. Do I think this is a perfect setup? No. I think that strength is on the market. No, not the market. The house's side. So when I say that, I'm saying that I look at the side of strength as the house at the casino. They're not going to be right every time, but I think they're going to be right majority of the time. So I'm already telling myself right here with weak strength, you know, not the greatest looking volume. We're putting red engulfings, rejecting some levels down to a level of 6. I don't think that this is going to be the low. I think we're actually going to crack lower, and yet I say that and I'm trading it right here. Because if I'm wrong and the house is wrong, that's where you get very big gains. And my other trade that today is actually very similar when we took this last week, and it was FVRR. All we did, we put an alert at 28, and we had an order in, and this order actually got filled in the middle of this red candle at a 28 flat. And who knows, maybe this actually ends up going against us as well, but whether this is perfectly set up or not, it tried holding this previous high very well. Held, 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 held. Now can we get another move to the upside where this is where we took the trade last week in the middle of this candle, or no, it was this candle right here. So trying to bottom pick with some of these levels, maybe I'm a couple days early on Lucid. That is one thing that we have to try to decide during today. Now, I haven't got alerted yet, so obviously the position is sitting all right. We're not looking to add. We're just, and if it gives us an opportunity to average up, like we did on FVRR today. Now, the average up was simply just a reload. We have our entries down here, and we had some outs up at 29 respecting these highs, and all we did was bought back the shares that we sold. Now, it would have been nice to get it a little bit closer into this body candles of these highs, which meets up around at 27, 25. But then you kind of risk it folding over and looking like an upside down U shape. So if I was looking at that the other way around, where buy the smiley face, sell the frowny face. So we just reloaded the current position that we had with FVRR, but kind of similar where we're trying to bottom pick the sort of price that it's at. Now sitting at 632, nothing to brag about right now. I'm going to expect some sort of indecision in this trading today. Now if this can play out for us how we want it to, let's just clear out the chart. I want to see a price flirt up with the 650. If we can get up to the 650 range, I think anybody who's short the top end of 650, so you can see we get up to 650. Is there shorts trying to enter in right here where you look back over to my levels and that's getting in close, where if this was opposite like a flipped upside down chart, I'd be looking to punch along maybe inside of this previous high right here. If we just mark that, you can see that's right around that 650 level. So if we can get over 650 is what I'm going to be looking for. So moving forward, you can also see that forward is on the title. We put in the first red candle on this move to the upside. Let's just clear the chart. You guys know that we have some sort of wedge pattern in right here, give or take whether that's set perfectly or not. All in all, give or take, this is accurate enough. As it's respected this uptrend many times, we're able to gap up completely through it. Is it set perfectly? I don't know. But if this wanted to pull back in, I can see this was resistance. And then we were able to get through that when we're through this downtrend. Who knows? Maybe this needs to pull back to 13. But if we're lucky enough, we're going to be watching this in case this wants to make a run for 14. And why this gap fill we're going to be focused on is because it also meets in over at the other side of these highs as well. So we're looking at this as a trim window on forward, and we will see where that goes from there. You know, I could also throw in BAC, but I am really thinking long term on this name, so I'm not really interested in, okay, it's going against me, I'm gonna sell. No, we're holding this position until we get up to some, you know, it wasn't able to get to this gap. Can we get up to 13 or 30, 50? You know, who knows? Maybe we need to pull back in to these mid 28 flat was a solid support level that it held and then rejected and then held again. So maybe around 28 flat if we pull back into there. Who knows? But just kind of sitting on the sidelines there. AI, I think this is going to be the day we decide, you know, could we pull back into 35 flat if I just mark this wick top? You know, 34.50 to 35 could be some sort of level that we're looking at. Looking at the 15-minute chart, I really wanted early in the day for this to break out and try to test over this 39.50. The closer we can get to 40s, the better. And this is the gap that I'm referring to. We may even think about liquidating the position if we get to this range. But that is what we were watching right there. So I'm going to hop back over to Lucid briefly, and you can see those 32s held. So this is holding the level that I want it to right now, and I'm going to be looking to maybe add some more if it continues this trade sideways. And who knows, maybe the top of this body candle at 37s ends up being some sort of neckline where you could potentially have some sort of descending channel. You trade sideways long enough, and then you're able to break that channel and some sort of level to the left of the chart. That'll give you an opportunity of entry, maybe. So as of right now, still trading in sort of a channel that we have identified. Is it going to follow it down here? We are going to need a little bit more time to tell. So moving forward, we also have Intel. Now we've talked about Intel many times, and I talked about it even last week for an even later entry. We talked about this as a lot of green volume came in, small red candles, nothing really red engulfing, wicks all the ways down to a level, which is right around this previous high right here. Rejects it, breaks it, holds, and this is the level that we end up holding. And since the open of the day, pretty much a green move to the upside. Looking at the daily for this, you can kind of see how this is played out. You had a descending channel that we talked about, give or take, something like that. Something like that. Now, right here, when we seen this volume increase on this candle, we seen the gap up, and we were buying the top end of this gap. This is not how it always works. Not how it always works. And I was buying inside of a channel. Did I know that it was going to break that channel? And then we were also buying it around this 30 flat. Why did we buy 30 flat? It was meeting some levels, some previous highs, and it actually set to close below that. Now, did we get worried that it was below where we just averaged up at? No. We let the cards play out because we had strength on our side. We had increasing volume. We had 3 decreasing volumes, and now this is our follow through as it's holding the top end of this. So now that I see, okay, we're taking out highs. Are we able to get over top of this high is going to be the true question. Does this turn into some sort of ascending channel? sort of like that. Where, hey, I don't need to do anything with the position because I think it has a little bit more room to run. Now, if we get up to this breakout level around 34 flat, maybe I can think about a trim there. So that is Intel in a nutshell. And we are just going to be nursing that position. No reason in selling right now, especially when it's very strong on the 15-minute chart, moving to the upside. Now DAL, we're going to go into some airlines. You guys know that I've talked about this 40 level, and we did get a 40-20 print on this today. Nice bull flag pattern, so I actually think that this is going to take out the highs, but if it wants to shoot back down, okay, let's reevaluate. We got the trim at 420, which the high of the day is 40.21. 1 penny off. 1 penny off the high of day, and all we said to ourselves is, hey, we want to respect these highs right here. And I did have 40.25 marked, and as we were getting there, all I did was take a piece off in front of that. And at the time, I was like, you know, we're probably going to print 40.25s. It's okay. Let's take a piece off. I had no idea this is how it was going to transpire going in, but you know, price trying to hold the highs from Friday. So if this isn't done running, you know, looking at the daily, you can see we have sort of like Intel where you had a downtrend and you have an ascending channel. Can we get to the top end of that channel where, you know, who knows, maybe this is printing up at 44s. Do we have some resistance that can build in over there? We sure do. Look at this flat top over there. That's at 44.50. So potential move. Now, does it need to pull back in, sort of test the top end of the downtrend, sort of like Intel did? If we go back over to Intel, it pushed its descending channel to the downside and it retested the top end of it. Oh, let's go remark it. Downtrend, you break it, you retest. Who knows, maybe DAL needs to do that as well. So DAL, there was also a trim on American, as this was kind of meeting in sort of right near those highs as well. So we trimmed them both at the same time. AAL was a market, DAL was a market, as basically one after another. I could go look at what the AAL fill was, but it was probably right around inside of this candle, right around here somewhere. So just because it's down a little bit, okay, we're okay holding this position, and we want to see further price action to the north side. Other than that, nothing too crazy. We're not taking any trades as of yet. I know H&H Trader, if anybody's joining from there, he had this on watch. High volume, 57 million shares traded on the day. You know, honestly, a nice sideways chop action. Do I have enough information to tell myself that, hey, this isn't going to be a descending channel? You know, even with it just showing me this, where we're getting a lot of sideways, even if we pull into here, it doesn't mean that we can't trade sideways and then it's a trade later on in the day. So we are going to keep our eyes on it. And of course, AHI. We're looking at this for some sort of flat top, but just the exhaustive move that it's had, I would have much rather had it down here, as a lot of people would. So I'm not really going to put too much emphasis on this one either. So we're going to keep an eye on Lucid. Let's go take a look back at that. We haven't got alerted yet. Still sitting at 634s. So position kind of following, and even on this wick, we were able to get up to 41s was the high. Who knows? Maybe we can get some sort of further break to the north side. Other than that, nothing much that we're watching. The other one we kind of did have on watch a little bit. Getting closer to just exiting the AMD position. Now it's a strong name, which is the only reason why I'm still holding a small piece. And looking at the chart, I can see maybe a small little gap in right there. If we're lucky, I think we can maybe get that. And then here's your previous lows, rejects to the top end. So that's what we're rejecting right now as well. Yeah, other than that, nothing a lot, nothing too too crazy. This GOTU, I should have just held it. We knew that it was showing early signs of breaking this high, and we actually got out near the lows, which sucks kind of to say. I think it was somewhere in one of these two candles. We had to stop underneath this wick, and we got stopped out near the lows, where the bigger picture on this name, as I had said during the live stream, is that, hey, this is still holding an uptrend. So kind of like the Carl Icahn Fund, we can go take a peek at that. And they're very similar, where we get stopped out right here, we retrace trade sideways long enough, holds the uptrend, and doesn't have the weakness to get down to this gap. My out could have been underneath the downtrend, and I'd still be sitting in it, and I'd be sitting, you know, almost 20 cents in the money. So it sucks looking at this and saying, hey, I want to get in this name, but I just got out down here, and now I got to get out in higher, and who knows, maybe we come right back down into this 14. Tough to say, but I think the go-to is a pretty decent setup on the daily, where there's your uptrend. You can see it clear as a day, and it was also able to break some sort of downtrend that we had set, where that was probably a descending channel. You break that channel, nice bull flag, and now we're taking out the highs of that bull flag. So pretty interesting setup there. Invax is one that's getting a positive break on the daily. And I've traded this name a couple times. Is there going to be any real weight to it? A lot of indecision on the volume. But here's your opening candles. Here's your opening candle. Gaps up, fills the gap. Now we're taking out highs. Does it have the strength to take out this high? Does it have the strength to break over top of some of these highs over here? An 825 break. But you can see the sort of wedge pattern that we're kind of building into right here. If this can hold, we're going to keep Invax on watch, especially with the fresh positive break. Yeah, I mean, if it were to get over 825s, I wouldn't be surprised to see this maybe even attempt to run for the previous lows over here. You don't really have a gap to go for, but just from current price to those previous lows, not a half bad risk reward, saying that, you know, you're probably risking about 25 cents, dependent on the entry, of course. So we're going to keep an eye on Lucid, sitting at 631, nothing really crazy, just a small fill. Is it going to be able to hold these levels? It's tough to say, guys. It really is. Yeah, other than that, has anybody got any questions that they want to ask? Yeah, I mean, I wish I had more for you guys right here, but when it's hard to decipher and put my reputation or integrity on the line, especially when the NASDAQ is kind of just trading sideways a little bit over the last couple of weeks, you know, ups and downs, of course, and you still have strength. You're testing this flat top. I'm expecting this flat top to get taken out, and we make a run for the gap, and the 702 is sitting right around there as well. So it's really setting up like we're going to make an attempt for another leg higher. What happens from there? Do I really want to recommend some sort of swing trade or day trade? You know, day trade, which is why the last couple weeks or the last week or so, it's been more day trade instead of sticky notes. Where down here, we were talking about sticky notes. We had setups, we had stuff that were meeting in near lows, and you know, just one example of that. I'm not going to waste my time. But you guys get the point. Do I want to recommend something up here and kind of put my integrity on the line of following a plan, which is going to be hard to express to you guys exactly how I'm going to play it? Uh, just needs more information. Anytime that you just aren't sure about something, it's not a bad thing to just sit on the sideline and just watch. Take a couple small trades, understand your risk, know your outs, and if you are fortunate enough, then you get paid. So looking at Lucid still holding these levels down here, is it going to be some sort of descending channel? And Donnie in the chat, ASST, I'm not surprised that they're looking at it. There's a lot of names, or a lot of eyes on this, a lot of volume. I just need a little bit more information. I'm not interested in taking, I look at this as sort of a middle ground. So if I'm looking at this, why is this 355 marked? You gap down from a Friday to a Monday right there. And it just so happens that we wick top into that. Now if we're able to take out that high, maybe there's something here. If it can get over 350, that would be an extraordinary move. But on the 15-minute chart, you know, it's trying to hold some lows. Is this going to be some sort of ascending channel that we can break over top and hold? It's tough to say as of right now. You know, you could have outs underneath of 70s. It's to me, it's too early to take the trade. Intel continuing the green move to the upside. And this Lucid trade is really been holding this level right here. So this is what we're going to keep our eyes on. We are not opposed to adding more size on this. And there's 637 just holding nice sideways consolidation. So just trying to play the bottoms here. This can show us a green candle up to like 650. You know, I think this might have something there. I will be right back. I gotta take this call. Sorry about that. Okay, we are back. Looking at the market, we're just gonna peek over at TQ. You know, was able to break this this channel to the downside. Another chip name here. Hey guys, I do apologize that the watch list can be a little overwhelming. I think we have north of almost pushing that 500 tickers, so it's a lot to keep on watch. So a lot of times I just sit here and I just look at the top gainers on this. Now at some point in time there was a reason for every single one of these names to be on here. Uh, some different than others. I have an understanding of which ones are profitable, which ones aren't, and the more less volatile names are kind of on watch for me today. Yeah, looking at this ASST, I just don't know if this is gonna pan out. It's trying to hold this 277 level. We have a couple different ways that this could play out as of right now. I mean, yeah, this is just gonna need more information. Whether this puts a green engulfing candle and wicks right back down, who knows? Uh, I think a lot more of my focus would be on this INVAX, where I would have been looking for, you know, right around this 75 break would have been interesting, and then tries to retest it. And it's got a nice 825 break, so this INVAX is a little bit more, you know, you have a lot more information to go off of instead of taking a crapshoot on this. Do you get lucky and you get a leg up? Maybe. Do you get stopped out and then it ends up doing it later? Maybe. Uh, I mean, tough to tell. Tough to tell. But we are going to keep an eye on this Lucid trade as we are kind of dillying around where we have a potential. If this just keeps trading sideways and takes out 650, I think we're going to be okay just holding this one for the next couple weeks maybe. And we could get lucky enough to print this name up over 7, maybe even up over 10 a month out in advance. But a month out in advance, who knows, maybe we take out these lows over here and trade further to the downside. So I really don't have much of a level that I'm trading off of here at 6. And I kind of look a little bit like a hypocrite, I'm sure, to some people who have followed the channel for some time now, as I'm not a fan of share dilution. I'm not a fan of unprofitable companies. I'm not a fan of the speculation plays as like long-term plays, even though that, you know, some people that is their cup of tea, that's their bread and butter. So a little bit of a hypocrite for me to trade this name as looking at the income statement over here, just looking at the shares outstanding. I mean, there has been a ton of share dilution in this name, and looking at the quarterly, it doesn't look like it's going to go away anytime soon. Year-over-year dilution of about 9%. The quarter before that was about 131%, so a lot of share dilution. Is this going to be a bottom? You know, I would say no, it's not. But crazier things have happened, and if I can take advantage of some volatility in this name, maybe I can print it to the upside. So that's what we're looking for there. Oh yeah, I was going to go to that Carl Icahn fund. That same trend line is still in right there. Referring to the go-to, where we knew we had this uptrend. We knew this was what we were trying to see hold. We get stopped out. Man, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Holds the uptrend. Doesn't have the sideways consolidation like go-to did, but takes out the highs, retests it again, and it's been nothing but up. Nothing but up. Just holding a ton of strength, and looking over at the daily, we are getting a positive break right here. So I mean, we're trading this name down near the lows. This is why the bottom picking, you know, if you are correct and you can find them, you get rewarded. You definitely get rewarded for it. So let's go take a look back. Oh boy, Lucid back here over at 642s. So getting a little bit of a pop right here. Is this going to be able to hold? Is it going to be something that looks like this? Maybe. So we'll adjust that downtrend, and you know, it looks really good right here. The volume's starting to pick up a little bit, and we're starting to wick into that newly adjusted channel, or is this some sort of early signs of an uptrend? We will find out. We're not quite sure yet. Let's just clear out the drawings and just watch it for a little bit. We'll watch this 7 minutes and come back to it and take a look. And to some people, they are probably telling themselves, hey, potential double top right here. Maybe. But as long as it holds this 290, all it would take is a clear out of 350 and you're looking good. TMC is a new one we put on there. It's a metals company. And I put it on there just because it's had some clear volume difference right there. And early signs of an uptrend right there. Only 2 points of contact. So, we did have Neo at an 8 break. Lucid, active. This triggered. Active. We can probably take this one off for now. Neo, 8. Crossing 8. So it's gonna suck looking back at this and saying, hey, we were on top of this. I wasn't at my computer at market open. I was dealing with an issue, and that kept me away from it. Came back to my computer, and hey, my 8 triggered right off the open. Could I have gotten in at like a 820? Maybe. Nice increase in volume, a little decreasing in volume. You probably have some sort of channel, early channel to the downside. Let's see if this can trade sideways and give us an entry later. And here's this ASST. Now that we're getting more information on this candle, the more I look at this, the more I see, hey, potential descending channel into some levels. Are we able to trade sideways down here around this 250 and then catch a bid to the upside later? Maybe. But I made that mistake on Friday. That was the biggest mistake on Friday, is that we were taking the trades on stuff. Now, not obviously exactly like this scenario, but we were taking positions on stuff when we had clear descending channels marked instead of waiting for a break one way or the other. We couldn't go look at CFXRX. This was one of the names that we were trading, and this is kind of how we left it for the day. This is a wide channel. Is it set perfectly? Probably not. Is it even going to hold? I don't know. There's just not enough clarity on this name, and we will trade it at a later date. CXAI giving up the trend line. Let's go take a look at AI. We were trading Soundhound. And this FVRR trade. These are the two buys that we've had on the day. Is FVRR, does this turn into some sort of U shape where this is where I'm looking to reload? It held it 2 days in a row. We didn't get the bottom wick print, but we got a reload around that 28, and we're looking for this to start curling up. You can see it trying to build some sort of flat top right over by this previous low, and this actually meets in right over there as well. And this pole is even further to the left, even further to the left, even further to the left. So this has been a level doesn't need to trade inside here for a while before we get a further move break either way, either to the upside or the downside. I don't know. But going back over the Lucid, this one has a little bit more interest to me because when you see this candle come in, who's putting their alerts right here? That alert got triggered, and now they're just watching the price, maybe waiting for a price to come back in the 638. So we like the entry we have right around 33s, 34s. I could go look. And this is looking pretty good. 4 minutes left on this candle. Getting the volume increasing briefly. What does the volume look like when we get over 646? Okay, 2 minutes 30 seconds left in this candle. I really like the way this is looking. Does it have to fight through? And we're gonna try it. It looks like we're gonna try in the back half of this candle. This is a really nice looking candle. Invex continuing the churn. You know, it sucks I wasn't sitting here waiting for it. You guys know I've kept my eyes on Invex many times. How would that have been? Got a descending channel. You blast through it. You retest the previous highs and the uptrend. Look at that. Now people say buy low, sell high. That's is the go-to saying for a lot of people. Buy low, sell high. But there's so many different ways that you can interpret that. You could buy low, buy lower, buy lower, buy lower, and sell even, and that's not terrible. You can buy higher, and sell higher, or sell for even. I mean, there's so many. Just because you take a trade on something and you lose money on it, that does not mean that you should instantly say, oh, everything that I did was wrong, or I was wrong here, or make some assumptions on why you were wrong. Instead, you can get a grasp, get a feel for where you went wrong in the trade, reevaluate it, and use that to be better on the next trade. Sometimes getting stopped out at a loss, there is definitely positive that you can take there. There's a lot of things that can be said where you end up getting stopped out at. Go take a look back over at Lucid, and it looks like it's going to try. It looks like we are going to try right here. You know, I could have added a little bit more size. As it was just holding sideways, that's what I kind of stated that I want to see it do. I just want to see it trade sideways. But really looking good right here. If we can get some green engulfing and just hold it all the ways through, that is what we're looking for. I'm gonna go peek over at a Fastenal. Man, what is this name gonna do when it gets over 56? What is it gonna do? This is gonna be. How about that? That's the first candle. Look at that gap right there. On the money. On the money. Big gap down. Soulhound, here it is. We were trading Soundhound. Why do I always keep calling it Sound or Soulhound? Definitely some sort of uptrend in right here. Now that we're putting in a couple nice green candles, filled this gap to the upside. Consolidation candle. What happens when this breaks over like a 340? Oh boy, that looks really good, doesn't it? We got the candle close. Is this going to be an uptrend that builds into some sort of ascending channel like this? Maybe. It's gonna take some time for it to work out some of these levels. This isn't one that we're sitting here saying, hey, this is gonna be a straight shoot to the upside. No, we're just gonna let it play out. Get the entry, hold a piece for the dream. You guys know what we like to preach here. Get the entry, hold a piece of the dream. HPQ, also a nice uptrend hold. Looking at the daily. There's the bigger picture. When is this going to give you some sort of breakout? The price we're fighting at, previous low. This gap has already been filled. It's already telling you, hey, we shouldn't really have to worry about this 31 flat. Build a U-shape. Actually, we do have to worry about it briefly. There's the gap down at that level. So somebody around that level has been pretty interesting. Price action right around there. Kazim, we took the trade right around this 340. Had one trim at 392s. Is it going to be able to hold this as some sort of uptrend where we have support at 3? I'm okay holding this, under 3. Give it like a 290 stop. See if that gets triggered. Gonna be tough to say. End phase. We've talked about end phase many times. Nothing has changed. Sec, I gotta get rid of these hiccups. We'll see if that helped. FVRR. Still just kind of trading sideways, but I do like that we haven't really set a close underneath this low. A little bit, briefly. Just clear out the chart. Now we wicked into this previous top right here. Nice volume increase. How much selling came in? Not a lot of volume in this name. You can see relatively low volume consistently. Dun, 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 dun. Might as well take a peek over at IBM. We do get the gap up. We could stop out a few shares right here, but holding a nice uptrend. Holding a nice uptrend. We have some levels that we're looking to trim. Looks like previous low and a gap. And here's those highs. We can probably mark that in right there. We can think about it. Or Kiva, respecting some levels. Holding. We're just holding this. Can we get top end of the channel? That would be fantastic. 116 gap. Take a peek at Disney. Definitely has some sort of downtrend. Like that, something like that. Is that going to be some sort of descending channel? Maybe. Just maybe. Does Disney have to come down to 70? Man, if Disney came down to 70, that would be pretty nuts. I'd say if I could pick anywhere on the chart to buy this, right there, 44. If Disney came down to 44. I don't see it obviously, but if it were there, you know, probably be thinking some sort of margin. Not financial advice, obviously. But if Disney was trading at 45, I would say there's probably worse companies that you can go and invest in. That'd be pretty crazy, you know. Down there, people might be saying, hey, we can get 36. I think long term, that'd be a no-brainer in this window. No-brainer. Let's go take a look at a Lucid. Still sitting in this range. We've already told ourselves, we're not expecting this to rocket ship. Is this some sort of descending channel that's going to need to make? Maybe. Just maybe. Take a look at NRG. I just wouldn't expect this to have any weight to it. That's a back test of the neckline. Right there. Came very close to it. You can take a look at BTI. Looks weak. Weak name. Descending channel. Low 30s. I preach this name in low 30s. If it were to give up 30s, man, that would be pretty surprised, but anything can happen in the short term. Looking at the monthly, weak name on the monthly. Marking this wick low, 27s. Marking these lows, 22. And if this name came down in the low 20s, that would be something. But you can see the descending channel. You probably have something meeting in like this. So a catalyst. Maybe some reason to have to drop further. You don't really have an uptrend like you did. Putting a red engulfing through that. Go peek over at oil. You guys know I like oil. Leaving a wick into that. Is this going to be able to hold? I don't know. Sell the frowny face. You know, this could be a flat bottom break that's setting up. Could see another leg down on oil. Very possible. 38. Now I just simply mark that because it's the indecision candle with the body, previous high, our previous top. Showed me it could set a close higher than 43s. Does this hold? Does this hold some sort of uptrend? Does it need to trade like that first? Coming in the 40s. A little bit of volume increase. And this is what I was saying with ASST. Let it present an entry. We've already marked a possible descending channel. If it trades sideways, you know, maybe we're talking about a breakout over here. Now you gotta fight through previous lows, right engulfing through the level. Neo, an 8 break would have been nice. Maybe a test of 825 could have been something there. Invax. Giving up this previous high isn't always the most ideal. Could be setting up a frowny face. Longs get in, longs exit quickly. Uptrend holds. Is there any confirmation in here that longs are getting in? Tough to say. More information on Invax. What's it like when it breaks 825? That's what I want to know. Fubo, descending channel at its finest. Can't trade sideways. Break up, maybe a break of 2. There's your 2 flat, right over top of those wicks. This pulls all the ways over. Next candle came in. We're sitting at 38s, exactly what we marked. There's 38s. Are we able to hold the middle of this green move? Does this uptrend have any weight to it? We're gonna find out. Some people might look at this as double top. I'm sure if I go to a 5-minute, maybe it looks that way. Yeah, could. Very well could. But that's why I don't like using a 5-minute. On the move to the upside, you do see a little bit increased red volume. Nice increased volume right there. But only, yeah, I shouldn't say only, that's a decent move. Wicking into sort of that neckline that we marked briefly. TMC, not the most amount of charting right there. A lot of volume into the open. Holding this previous high. Right around a 1 flat level. Looks like you have a gap at 110. Clear volume increase. Previous couple candles was right around 6 mil. We're 2 hours into the trading day. Already 2.3 million in volume. The go-to. This is what I was saying. Just because you have this double top like doesn't mean that you can't break over like a 340. I mean that thing could rip back half the day. Who knows? Well, other than that, I would say unless someone's watching and wants me to look at something, nothing else I'm really gonna trade today. Just kind of nurse some positions, and who knows, maybe this Lucid wants to go and trade against me, and we have to get out of it today, but that doesn't mean that's not a trade later in the week. We tried it over here. We tried it right here. Let's see if this has any movement to the upside, and other than that, uh, that's going to call it for the live stream today. I might live stream later at 2 o'clock, give or take, and we'll go from there. So, hope you guys have a good start to your week, and we will see you